by Democrats at the state capitol, Decriminalize Prostitution, has certainly energized Republicans who see it as the perfect symbol of the left becoming too radical in Colorado. Our Angela Call looks at the attempt to make Colorado even more liberal on prostitution than Nevada, their local jurisdictions decide.
In Denver, even the bill sponsors acknowledge what's being proposed isn't often talked about at the state capitol.
Look, this isn't the most comfortable issue. I think there's a lot of folks who would rather that we don't talk about it.
Democratic State Senator Nick Hinrichsen is sponsoring this bill that would decriminalize prostitution across the state. He argues it will reduce violent crimes, result in better health outcomes for sex workers, and create more trust to report crimes to law enforcement.
People should be able to have confidence in their communication, and they should be able to, to report the things that they see that are really problematic.
If you ask Republicans opposing the measure, they'll tell you they don't buy those arguments.
This bill legalizing prostitution is a terrible idea. It's really distracting from the real work.
I want to believe what she's saying, and I want to trust her. But the thing is, she had a perfect opportunity right now to be specific and say exactly what it is about this bill that is bad. And she literally fumbled a perfect opportunity to plead her case, which I find odd. If you're a proponent of something, you should be able to tell me all the benefits of it, all the negatives of it. You shouldn't stutter. I'll be honest with you. Something like this, it's eventually going to have to get regulated because the snare is capturing way more people than you would think that it would. So now you're getting police and police chiefs and police captains, people who are married, people who are, pastors of churches, business owners, community leaders. Apparently, all men through all walks of society love women. And apparently there are women who you can pay them money to love you. It literally just sounds like a more direct version of marriage. And, we are living in the future. Relationships are less stable. So people are doing the short-term thing. So pay for play, that's kind of like the law of the land now. I go out a lot, I party, I hang out. I mean, just in the last 5 years, I've noticed that now any woman you meet no matter what age, it's like everyone's trying to sell sex in a certain type of way. And then most of the time it's not like, okay, directly give me this much money for sex, but it's like, oh, I only date guys that are rich. Oh, I only date guys that are going to take me to this steakhouse. I'm only going to date guys that buy bottles at these clubs and this and this. And it's like, you're literally spending all this money in America to try to gain sex. But in other parts of the world, you can literally just be poor, save up money for 3 weeks, and then just go pay a woman for 30 minutes of fun. Why in America do they, when it comes to this one issue, force morality on us? We are a country that's always at war. Murder happens all day, every day. There is no consistent moral fabric that we all share. Everyone has their own ideas on how things should be. So I don't know. And then I kind of see it as a fool's errand. I don't think women are controllable. I don't think you can control women. I don't think you can tell women what they can or cannot do with themselves. And men know the penalties of paying women for sex. Men still roll the dice and do it every day. I just think it's a fool's errand to keep trying to control women. I don't think it's possible.
Republican State Senator Lisa Pizzell worries law enforcement would have a difficult time determining who might be consenting as a sex worker versus those forced against their will.
And so law enforcement, in talking with my own sheriff, Sheriff Weekly, they are very concerned about this particular bill because they see it as really creating so many downstream issues.
Opposing.
I mean, I hear them say this, but Again, I used to live in Europe. Where I live at in Germany, this is legal. Women have to go get tested. They get a card that goes on the wall of their establishment. You get their results. They have a shower. Everything is monitored and maintained on the up and up. So there is no going behind a alley or in the shadows where bad things can happen. They literally have entire buildings dedicated to sex work. It's kind of like going to a buffet. I remember me and my buddies, we were literally, there's no elevators in these buildings. They'll be like 15 stories high. And each floor you go to, it'll be for women from a different country. So you'll get some women from China, and there'll be women from Panama, and there'll be women from Brazil, and there'll be women from Norway, and there'll be women that are Russian. And you're like, where am I? And it would just be, and then next thing you know, there's so many different women everywhere. You guys can't even choose. And you're just going around. But I remember I went in there, and yeah, the women, they have like their results on the wall. Everything is very transactional. A lot of married men would be with their wives and their kids. And I would see them stop at a cafe. They'll sit their kids down, they'll order food, tell their wives, hey, I'll be right back. And they would walk across the street into one of the red light districts. They'll be there for 10, 15 minutes, take a shower, come back. By the time he gets back to his family, the food is just now getting there. You don't hear about all the different crimes and all the violence like you do in America. You don't hear about it in Europe. And I wonder, like, is that by design because the criminal justice system does not want less violent people? They want chaos. They want people in jail. Is that why? Because, I mean, this is a solution. Women are going to do what they want to do with themselves. And, I mean, to call a man, I've seen it happen before, where there was a guy who was her boyfriend, but your girlfriend does OnlyFans. She's a dancer. And if she gets caught doing something, they'll try to say, oh, her boyfriend is making her do it. And the boyfriend's just a boy. He's just a regular guy, but he just has no control over what his girl does. So if she goes out and she messes with men or she tells them she's just dancing or doing massages, he doesn't know any different. And a lot of men are weak. They're not going to break up with these women. But to assume that every man is trafficking these women, I don't understand why people don't understand. Women are in control. These women are the ones literally making themselves go out and do this. I literally go to clubs at night and I'm like, wait a minute, I know this girl. And she's like, yeah, I work at a strip club, but I'm now at a regular club and I'm going to an after hours after this. And then I'm going to go dance. And I'm like, you're just completely just out doing whatever you want. No guidance, no supervision. You don't care. There's nothing somebody can say to stop her. It's what she wants to do, but that's kind of like her right to do it. I mean, the best that I would think you would do is just try to facilitate it and regulate it, because at least they have to register. At least you know who they are, and it would kind of limit the confusion. Right now, with forcing people to do everything underground and behind closed doors in the shadows, I don't know. I just think it's creating a long. It's the problem's not getting better. If anything, the violence and the behavior is getting worse. I'm looking at all these fights between the girls, like the 304s and whatever, they're the prostitutes. They're out on these different areas and they're literally fist fighting each other. There's complete lawlessness. There's no police. I just think that if you regulate it, maybe you control it. I mean, it's kind of like with marijuana. It used to be a big, huge deal, but now that it's under control and regulated, I've heard that less people are starting to smoke weed because it lost its allure, because it used to be something that was outlawed and banned. But once it becomes acceptable, you're not really a rebel anymore. And I mean, then again, if you do tax it, you can make money off of it. I mean, they have stripper cards where you have to go get a dancer's license. And then even where I'm at in Arizona, there's an escort license. It's like you might as well not legalize it, but decriminalize it, so that you got to think about it. Some women, this is all they want to do until they can't do it anymore. Every woman I've ever met, for the most part, except for a small few, were trying to find one way or another to yield her beauty to benefit from for the rest of her life. Whether that means finding a man that's going to marry her young, finding a man who's rich, who's going to accidentally get her pregnant. Everyone's trying to use their looks to get ahead. This right here is just a direct way of doing it. But but it can't get any less safe than it is right now. So there's nowhere to go but up if you do decriminalize it and say, hey, if you want to do it, you're going to have to get a permit, get a license. You're going to have to show your results. You got to have a location. You can't just be out on the street because that's dangerous. What if you get hit by a bus or something? I mean, there has to be a way to regulate it. But again, I just don't see you being able to tell women what they can't do. They're going to do it anyway. And the women of 50 years ago and women of today, two different types of women. These women today are not trying to hear a man or anyone tell them how they're going to get their money. They don't want to work. They don't want a regular job. These women, because of the music and the culture, women have been sold the dream of fast money, using their sexuality to get ahead. And there is no turning back from that. I don't even see the point of girls going to school. What's the purpose of spending 4 years in high school just to graduate and get on OnlyFans and become a dancer? Education where? You're not planning. I grew up thinking, okay, school was to prepare you for the workforce. If you know you're not going into the workforce, then what are you wasting all that time for? You might as well just focus on your craft, focus on your looks, focus on whatever you're going to be doing. But it just seems like a huge waste. I mean, you're spending money, you're spending time, but once you graduate high school, once you turn a certain age, you're not going to school no more, and you're just going to be basically putting yourself on OnlyFans. That's a huge thing nowadays. And little girls are looking at other girls that are ending up on the news who are making $1 million in one day. She used to be on Disney, and now her first day on OnlyFans, when she turns 18, she does $3 billion. That's inspiring other girls, little girls who are watching this. So the point is, when you're in an economy where information is shared so widely and information is shared vastly, you can't really control the information. And now that the information's out there, you want to tell people, well, other people can profit from it, but you can't. You're supposed to go do this. That's not going to work for everybody. There's some people who want to do more with themselves, or they were genetically blessed and look a certain way. They're going to use it to their advantage. So I don't think it can get any more dangerous. I think it only can get worse. So that's why if you legalize, at least you can try to regulate it.
Sides with different points. Data from the ACLU says that after the Netherlands legalized prostitution, the country saw more than a 30% decrease in reported rape offenses. But in other studies, the ACLU also found that Maine's law that allows selling sex but not purchasing it actually increases the risk of violence and threatens the safety of sex workers. Another point from the ACLU, they found that sex workers in indoor environments like brothels, but not purchasing it, actually increases. The country saw more than a third.
Wait. What did she just say?
30% decrease in reported rape offenses. But in other studies, the ACLU also found that Maine's law that allows selling sex but not purchasing it actually increases the risk of violence and threat.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, selling sex but not selling sex instead of purchasing sex equals an increase in violence? What the hell are we talking about? So you can sell sex, but as a woman, but you can't buy it as a man. Then who is she selling it to? Like I said, these laws, the way this whole system is set up, it's archaic. It's old and it's outdated. Yes, this country was amazingly made off a Judeo-Christian background and morality hundreds of years ago. Unfortunately, we live in an open society. When your society is open, that means you take in everybody and everything they bring in with them. Their lifestyle, their beliefs, their culture or lack thereof, their lack thereof religion, their lack thereof of morals. So there's no way we're all going to exist under one framework. It's just not going to happen. And again, it just doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, think about how many men got married just for the sex. They didn't love the woman. They didn't want to be with her, but that was a requirement at one point in time. And, you don't have to do that. These women are literally, they don't even want to be in relationships. You couldn't trust them in the first place. And if you work out a number, then it works. As long as she's of age and you gotta think about it. If you regulate it, if she has to go get a permit, she has a location, she is her own business. So now you're supporting a business, but you can regulate it, you can tax it. There's definitely ways you can do it, and then you can monitor it. But right now, forcing people into alleys and behind buildings and back seats of cars and setting up sting operations, it just doesn't sound. It doesn't sound safe at all. It just sounds like chaos that certain people, certain jurisdictions are making money off of when they arrest you once you get caught doing it, and they can't even justify why it's illegal or why it's not something that you can regulate. Most countries in the world, prostitution is legal at this so I don't understand why the United States is just so far behind, yet we have the highest crimes for this type of thing. It's like you might as well regulate it, and hopefully that'll make things a lot safer. The studies show it would be safer. I mean, you got to think about it. I like when I'm in Europe, we're in the red light district. It'll be 20 guys that I know, and then it'll be 20 guys we don't know, and we walk right by each other, and nobody will say anything. There won't be a fight or anything. In the U.S., if you see three guys walk by three guys, everybody's punching each other. But that's because in Europe, you can go to a red light district. Everybody can find women. You party with the women for 30 minutes. You pay them, and then you leave. Then you go to the court club. You're relaxed. You're not as stressed. You're not as tense. In the U.S., it costs so much money to meet women trying to get sex, buying cars that you can't afford, renting places you can't afford. You're out here. Most guys I know only were committing crimes because they wanted to buy clothes so that they can meet women. It's like everything over here is just a trap, and they use women as the bait. But if you legalize prostitution, women wouldn't be the bait anymore. You wouldn't even need that much money. Like in the U.S., women are like, yeah, I want to go on all these expensive dates, $400, $500, $600 dinners. But if you're in the UK and you go to a red light district, no matter what country the woman's from, it's like Dreißig Euro. So that's $30. 35 Euro is like the last time I remember. So 35 euros. 35 euros. And you can have any woman from any of these countries. $35. But in the US, you'll spend hundreds. And then what are you doing to make that much money that you can throw away? And then you wonder why so many men are committing crimes and are just burnt out idiots. I don't know. There's a lot. I see why so many different states are pushing to decriminalize it, because the criminalization has not stopped men's desire to meet women. Because especially if you're married, I can't date you. I'm married. I have a wife. But my wife hates me naturally. That comes with marriage. Your kids hate you. Everyone hates you. So what do a lot of guys do? They pay someone to be nice to them. You'll pay a woman and you pay her some money. She'll tell you you're a good guy. You're a nice guy. They'll sit there and listen to you. Bro, I've met guys who pay women and there's not even a sex thing. They pay women just to listen to them and talk to them because everyone at their home hates them. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's not just only a sex thing. If you're paying for a woman's attention, you're paying for her time. I still just don't see I don't see why that has to be completely, why the pushback on decriminalizing it. There are certain women, that's all they're good at. They're not good at building stuff. They're not good at cooking. They don't clean. They don't wash clothes. They don't do dishes. But she does know how to look really good, and she knows how to make men smile. So, I mean, you got to kind of, that's some people's skill set. I just think that pushing everybody into the darkness, into the corners, I don't know. I mean, I guess for public safety reasons, I can understand why it's illegal, but if you're going to regulate it so that you can monitor it to make sure things are safe and bring people from the outside and then where they can rent. That's how it is in Europe. In Europe, you can rent spaces. There's like little mini hotel rooms. You can just rent them. And then your clients will come see you. Everything's regulated. There's security. There's your health notices and everything. I don't know. I just don't see the downside.
Is the safety of sex workers. Another point from the ACLU, they found that sex workers in indoor environments like brothels experience lower levels of violence than those in more outdoor settings, like soliciting for business on a street or publicly. Keep in mind, this data is really hard as an apples-to-apples comparison because Nevada, for instance, only permits sex work in brothels. This bill in Colorado doesn't specify that kind of regulation. Also, keep in mind that crimes that are adjacent to prostitution, like pimping, for instance, still illegal under this law.
Let's go back to the idea of whether or not this passes for all of the talk about it, right? Democrats don't need a single Republican vote to pass anything at the Capitol. So the question is, are moderate Democrats on board with this?
Yeah, that's a good question. We asked the sponsor, do you have the vote? His response to us was, well, that's kind of a tough one. Ultimately, yes, Republicans are going to be opposed to this, and it's really going to be those moderate Democrats that will decide if it even gets out of committee, which we'll be watching in the next couple of weeks.
And well, Colorado's like California is one of those states where due to fraud, you assume that there's a Democrat supermajority. They don't need any Republicans to pass anything through. Again, it's a tough topic. You don't really know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I just know that we heard my body, my choice for so long. I don't know why when it comes to this topic, it falls apart. If it's really her body, her choice, then she can decide what she wants to do. Again, it should be about safety first. And right now, I just, pimping, that's dangerous. Men are dangerous. And that means that the woman's being forced or coerced or whatever. That's a whole different ball game. But if it's legalized and is regulated, then there are no more pimps. The only person that's the pimp is the landlord, wherever you're renting your space from, that you're paying your bills. And that's not a pimp. That's your manager. That's the building manager. So I don't know. It just seems like it would be safer if it's regulated. People bring up Vegas all the time, but it's very expensive in Vegas for girls if they try to register themselves. And then the only place you could actually do it legally is like at the Bunny Ranch, which is far away from the Strip. And there's only one Bunny Ranch. There's not like a brothel on every corner. I used to live in Vegas. And so a lot of it is underground or girls just trying to meet a guy in the casino or at a restaurant or something. And I mean, it's dangerous for both parties. There was a guy who met two girls and they went back to his room and then they just shot him in the head. So, I mean, it's you want it to be safe for both men and women. A lot of the guys are just now, they're no longer hanging out in the U.S. They're just going to Europe. They're going to other countries where it's legal. And they're no longer going to Vegas. They're no longer wanting to hang out in Colorado. They're not going to these places anymore because the funnest part of some of these trips when you're trying to get away and have a good time is meeting women. But obviously, I'm not going to be able to date you. I'm married. So I need someone that I can just hang out with short term. I want a woman I can just meet and pay. That's how it goes. And unfortunately, because of all the regulation in these different states, a lot of people they're just no longer wanting to deal with it. And that's making it less safe for women, less safe for clients. I wouldn't say Vegas is the best model, but I mean, it seems like Colorado's going to do it anyway. It seems like Colorado's going to pass it. And then from Colorado, that might be the state that everyone's going to want to mirror if they set it up properly. And it seems like, because it's ran by the Democrats, they're going to have funding for it. And they're going to say, hey, so that the women don't become victims, we want to make sure they have safe locations to meet with their clients. And we're going to regulate it. They're going to get health tests. If they're going to decriminalize it, then they're going to have to keep going. So Colorado could replace Vegas. And this is just going to be another hit to the Vegas travel industry. Because now you're not going to have to go to Vegas to meet women anymore, because that's kind of like what was the biggest allure. But yeah, nobody really wants to go to Vegas anymore, and now this is one less reason to do so, which is crazy. So I don't know. It just depends on who you ask. Like let's hear more than some social degradation. We're in deep shit because this is the haves taking advantage of the have-nots. I don't know, because what about the women who this is what they want to do? Not even because they need the money. I've met women who had jobs as nurses. I've met women who were married nurses, And they did this on the side because they like to do it. Like, and I know that's a hard thing for men to accept. Men, we can't ever seem to just accept that there's a such thing as women who just enjoy sex. We won't ever believe it. All men think that all sex is terrible for women. Women hate it. We're forcing them. We're begging them. They're only doing it for men, and that's not the case. I've met women who think about it. Look at your favorite musicians. Even though she has all this money, she still dresses up like a stripper just to go out and meet random guys. It's not like they're doing it because they need the money. They do it because they like the attention. They like the lifestyle. It's fun. So we can't necessarily say that that's what it is, you know. Anyway, like and subscribe, share the video. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. Again, I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, I understand why it's illegal, but then again, if there's a level of safety that can be increased due to regulation, where now the girls are not going to be getting arrested all the time, and you don't have to be in the shadows, and then you can monitor things and make it safer, then I understand. And then this line of work it's the oldest industry in human history. It's not going anywhere. And it seems like the United States of America is the last holdout where this is illegal. And I guess we're going to have to just catch up on times. I remember once upon a time, marijuana was illegal everywhere. And we had to eventually catch up with the times. Colorado was one of those first states that made it legal past California. And now after California, they kind of decriminalized street walking. But I guess Colorado's up next. So we'll see. Why would she marry if that's the case? I'll be honest with you. There's less and less reasons to marry. There's less and less reasons. You know, life is longer than it used to be. You know, once upon a time, people lived to be in their 40s. So you would have a finite time with people. But now people are living a lot longer. We have social media. You can meet more people. The benefits of getting married don't make sense anymore. And knowing that you're going to eventually break up with this person and all the times you took them out for dates, all the money you spent on them, everything is just going to be an investment of yours that went belly up. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. So I agree. It is a really good question. Very good question. Yeah, and I'm glad you understand the point, Stormy the Pitbull, you know, and I'm glad you tuned in. I mean, this is not a topic that everybody wants to have a discussion about. I don't shy away from anything. I think it's something that came across my desk. Someone asked me, so I figured I would talk about it. You know, like I said, I'm from LA, so I see what's going on Fig right now. The violence is insane. Let me show you. Fig, Los Angeles, Pimpin'. Let's see here. See here. Back up, Dad. What you mean? Watch out. Thank you, sir. Watch out. Relax. Breathe. Breathe. Walk off on your own. Breathe. I got you. You don't want no problem. You don't want no problem. Yeah, he can do it all the time. Ain't no problem. Breathe. Like right now on Figueroa Street in LA, there are hundreds of prostitutes walking up and down the street as we speak right now. And it's not that it's legal, but it's been decriminalized overall. It's been just decriminalized. So there aren't a lot of and the police see them every day. They're not arrested because what would be the purpose? They're not forced to be there. Now, there are some girls that have a boyfriend or they have a man in their life, but it's not like he's hiding in a bush and forcing her to do it. A lot of these girls are independent. If you speak to them, they are independent. I've met women who were dancers and they would go out there and they would be independent. They would have boyfriends who would beg them to not go out there to the street, to the blade is what they call it. And these women insist on it. They love it. So how do you, if somebody loves something and wants to do it, how do you convince them that it's wrong and that they shouldn't? These are women who are in full control of themselves. This is not the 80s. There's nobody being kidnapped. There's nobody being forced. This is all just a natural progression of a degrading society. But I mean, even if society was in great shape, women would still sell their looks and their sexuality. Women would still sell sex, no matter if the economy is up, women are selling sex. If the economy is down, women are selling sex. Monetizing beauty is the way of life. What do you think a wife is? You meet the prettiest girl, even if she's a evil, horrible person, and if she's good looking enough, you'll marry her. Even if she's going to divorce you and destroy you, you'll still do it because you're shallow. Women are not dumb. They see how weak and pathetic and shallow us men are. And they're like, instead of me settling for one shallow, pathetic piece of shit, I might as well take on hundreds of them and have them all take care of me for the rest of my life. That's the mentality of a working girl or a prostitute. It's a very thin line between a prostitute and a wife. And it's a very thin line between a customer and a husband. So you can't really judge. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is the same thing with an addict. I mean, I've seen interviews with guys who they'll tell you that they've been to go meet a girl that they met online. They go to the room, and 3 guys jump out of a closet, beat him to a pulp, and rob him, take all of his money. And because he was there trying to solicit sex from a woman, can't really go to the police, right? Even after that happens, and give him 2-3 days later, he's back on the app trying to meet another woman. It's insane. But women are an addiction. If you're a man, you have to be honest with yourself. Women are an addiction. Women is our strongest addiction. Women is the one addiction you can't kick. You can stop gambling before you can stop getting attracted to women. So, yeah, I mean, and it just makes sense that women want to monetize their looks and understand it, because some women understand the psychology of men better than other women. And that's the only way I can describe it. These 2 girls, this is crazy. These 2 girls are out in broad daylight. There's a drone following them, a drone. And they're literally just standing out on the street wearing, and I mean, this is all new in LA. This has only been the last couple of years, but this is just insane. They can wear the same clothes they would wear to go dance at a strip club, except they're standing outside on a corner. And there's nothing you can tell her to make her think she's not hot shit. She can be like the one on the left, extremely overrated, and she still thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread. Because there are men who are willing to come out here and patronize. And I don't know the solution for that. No one's ever figured it out. Thousands of years of recorded civilization, and this is the #1 industry in the world to this day. I don't know. Let me know what you guys' thoughts. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Push me to the algorithm. I'll be back on another topic in 20 minutes. This is about legalization in Colorado. Remember, it's America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.